Tom Dudnick on the IS 00700. A, the National Institute Management System, NIMS, an introduction. And this one is Tom Dudnick from FEMA on National Response and Framework and Introduction. Congratulations on all of them. Item 5, the architect called a few minutes ago on the way down, so we will table that till he gets here. We might have some information on that. Item 6, Veronica R. Aliaga, ACOG, and APS. A, proclamation for Older Americans Month, May, and B, proclamation for Elder Abuse Awareness Month, May.
Yes, Judge Queenie, at this time, Commissioner's Court, I'd like to go ahead and present the proclamation. The Judge Queenie will give us the honor of reading first the proclamation for Older Americans Month. We have Gloria Vasquez, Director of the Alamo Area of Aging from ACOG, who has joined us. And like I said, if you could give us the honor of reading that proclamation.
Older Americans Month, May 2014, safe today, healthy tomorrow. As proclamation, whereas Wilson County includes 9,672 citizens ages 60 and older, and whereas Wilson County is committed to valuing all individuals and recognizing their life achievements, and whereas the older adults in Wilson County play an important role by continuing to contribute experience, knowledge, wisdom, and accomplishment, and whereas our older adults are active community members involved in volunteering, mentoring, arts and culture, and civic engagement. And whereas recognizing the successes of community elders, encouraging their ongoing participation in further accomplishments. And whereas our community can provide opportunities to allow older citizens to continue to flourish by, one, emphasizing the importance of elders and their leadership by publicly recognizing their continued achievements, presenting opportunities for the older Americans to share their wisdom, experience, and skills, recognizing older adults as a valuable asset to strengthening American community. Now therefore, I, Judge Marvin Twiney of Wilson County, do hereby proclaim May 2014 to be Older Americans Month. I urge every citizen to take time this month to recognize older adults and the people who serve and support them as powerful and vital citizens who greatly contribute to the community. Dated this 28th day, April 2014. Motion, Commissioner Gomez, Commissioner Fowle, all in favor?
Aye.
And Judge Queenie, this is in reference to the proclamation for Elder Abuse Awareness Month, which is for May also. And we have Denise Pacheco, who is Adult Protective Services Supervisor, who serves here in the Wilson County area. And if you could give us the honor of reading that also, please.
County of Wilson, whereas people who are elderly and have disabilities have contributed to the general welfare of Wilson County by helping to preserve customs, convictions, and traditions of many people from diverse backgrounds. And whereas these residents are vital and integral members of our society, and their wisdom and experience have enriched our lives. And whereas the abuse of the elderly and people with disabilities in domestic and institutional settings is a widespread problem affecting hundreds of thousands of people across the country. And whereas abuse affected more than 98,078 Texans who are elderly or have disabilities in 2013. And whereas elder abuse is grossly underreported because of the elderly who are being abused find it very difficult to tell anyone and are usually ashamed and sometimes afraid. And whereas elder abuse happens to men and women of all income levels, all culture, and all ethnic groups, whether they are good health or incapacitated in some way in poor neighborhoods or in the suburbia. And whereas many of the cases investigated by Adult Protective Services in Texas involve self-neglect, and it is our duty as citizens to reach out to these people in need. Now therefore be it resolved that the Commissioners Court of the County of Wilson hereby recognizes and proclaims the month of May 2014 to be Elder Abuse Prevention Month in Wilson County, and urge all citizens to work together to help reduce abuse and neglect of people who are elderly and have disabilities. Motion, Commissioner Morales, Commissioner Wiley, all in favor?
All right.
You have some suggestions to the citizens of things that they might look out for, how to report or anything?
One of the things, and I want to give a couple of statistics on the elder abuse awareness, is only 1 in 10 cases is ever reported, and that's here in Wilson County and the area wide. So I highly recommend that we do keep an eye out on our elderly. We're coming up on the summer months. We felt some of the heat this past couple of days, so we know that the heat is starting to come upon us. And so I suggest that you keep an eye on your neighbors. I know unfortunately that they don't want to turn on the fans and the air conditioner because of the high bills, and that's a whole other different issue, but we do need to go ahead and report back. Adult Protective Services is there to help them out, and they are there if they need that assistance, not only with the light bill, but if they don't have a fan, if there's something that they need. Because unfortunately, that is one of the 3 things out of financial exploitation and abuse. Self-neglect is one of the items that our elderly are the ones that they're doing it to themselves. They don't know that they're self-neglecting themselves and doing without, whether it be their medication or, you know, the weatherization or anything like that. But that's something we do need to be aware of. And that's something that I would ask all of Wilson County to be aware of. Our neighbors, especially those that are shut in more in the rural areas that we're unable to see every week or every day or anything, because maybe they only get out to go to church or anything like that. So I'm asking also the churches in the area to keep an eye on our elderly at this time when they do their visits of either giving the, you know, the host or anything like that, to be aware of our elderly. And so, and by the same token, Judge Queen and Commissioners, because it is Older Americans Month, let's take this time also to give the honor and respect that that generation has given us, to give us our history, to go on and make our future.
You,
And on that, you know, just if you have any concerns about someone who is elderly disabled, call it in, or you can even go to our website that we have. Our 1-800 number is the same as CPS 1-800 number. I can just give that out. It's 1-800-252-5400. And then we also do have a website, which is www.txabusehotline.org. So it doesn't hurt for us to have a caseworker go out there and just check up on them, you know, because out here in the rural, a lot of people are just alone. And sometimes that neighbor, that mailman, or anybody's usually the only person sometimes they see. So, you know, if you have any concerns, let us know.
That was 800-252-5400?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
thank y'all all very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Judge Queen. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, item 7. Item 7, Judge Sarah Kennedy, Justice Court 2, revised ordinance discussed in 4/14/2014, considering the action to implement Senate Bill 1419 by approving the request to attempt to establish a juvenile case management program by Justice of Peace Precinct 2 to be funded by allowing the county auditor to retain 50% or $1 of the $2 court costs, which is currently being applied to each criminal conviction as required by the Code of Criminal Procedures, Article 102.015, effective January 1st, 2014, which was approved by the 83rd Legislature in order to create the Truancy Prevention and Diversion Fund. You want to comment on that? Is that just reword that? you
That
added
was the
word
same thing as
attempt?
last week, I just needed to add the wording to be proper in an attempt to establish, so it's not the approval of the position, it's just an approval to start sequestering the money, so to speak, for a future possibility.
I think that, since that money doesn't come back to us unless we do this, that we certainly ought to consider doing it. And the question that I would have, and I don't know the answer to, is just a question, is whether if we do in fact get this, whether that would in fact need to go back to precinct 2, or whether it could be used to help run juvenile probation. I don't know which would be the best approach. I'm just saying,
Well,
as opposed to tying it all into one precinct, as opposed to something that serves the entire county, since it's.
well, what I suggest is to make the motion to retain the dollar to determine how it will be used in the juvenile.
Should we get it? I'll make that motion.
Motion for Mr. Wiley, second for Mr. Powell, all in favor?
Mr. Wiley, as far as precinct 2, I do truancy pretty much for the whole county except for Livonia. I do Stockdale, Poth, Floresville, and the alternative.
But I guess the only issue, and I don't, again, I don't have a problem, it's just a question, is that when you look at Livonia and all the subdivisions that are associated with Livonia, that's a large segment
Right.
of the population, and so
Right.
that may be the best way to do it, but I do think we need to go forward, and then we can figure out,
Right,
if we get it through the budget process, which benefits the citizens the most.
right.
Thank you. Can we vote? Okay, Mr. Thorne showed up, and we'll go back to item 5, and that's the public hearing, courthouse annex 1, 2, 3, updates, comments, and questions. Do you have any updates for us?
I do apologize for my lateness. First, I'm looking at Oscar in San Antonio. We were hoping to hear from our state with regard to the start money for the courthouse last week. I guess they got their calendars crossed, but they forgot it was Good Friday, so they met on the Thursday, but didn't finish everything. So they're meeting this week, and they promised us faithfully they will have an answer by this Friday. So I think it's the 30th. It's the 30th will be the
30th,
Wednesday.
Wednesday. is the
Wednesday,
30th.
Wednesday, so the 30th they'll have it. So they said by the end, for sure, they were gonna meet this week, so let us know where we are.
And as soon as we hear from them, either way, the cable company's ready to start on the courthouse.
I think we've got a few I's got some T's crossed on the contract, but did you see everything back from them?
No, I have had no
Yeah.
contact with them at all.
Okay, I spoke with Paul last week and said, any final adjustments we need to get made, we need to get over to your office, so I'll check with them this morning to make sure we have that set. And what usually happens is, normally, when the Commissioners Court approves the contract to it, usually they'll have a calendar date line of when they start and when they finish. You don't really have to approve that directly in court, that can be done, understanding, as long as the court approves the actual document itself, we can work that depending on when the state gives us the time when we can start.
Well, the document is actually on here, number 11. We weren't sure that it would be ready to approve today or table till later.
It would be fine to approve the approval of the contract, but we just need to go ahead and make sure that we'll work out the details in terms of the scheduling, final price and what have you.
On that bid proposal that you did only for the foundation to the outside, why wasn't the inside bidded for?
We haven't got to that stage yet. We're getting the foundation stabilized, exterior envelope stabilized. That was the original part.
So there'll be another bidding process on the inside or what?
Yes, or we'll be getting pricing for it for the interior, please.
Did we know that we was gonna do that in one?
I thought it was.
Ideally, what we've done in the past is when we've had the contractor do the exterior or work like that, they'll give us a price as the process goes forward, knowing, for example, what we can do on the interior portion, and then we can either approve it or if we think it's too high.
That
we'll
was
look
a
at something.
pretty specific conversation we had about that, that we wanted the continuity of that person to bid that and not have the foundation put in by one person.
Right.
And another one coming in and bidding.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and stating that, well, the foundation was whatever.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, that would be the best way to do it, do the foundation, the envelope. So we have the same team there in the walls, they know what's going on with existing flooring, because in certain of the problems on the exterior have been caused, but the bowing, deflecting of the wall, and some of the second floor areas we know have deflected accordingly. They'll know the foundation system within inside, they'll know the structural framing inside.
So the envelope is all in one bid?
Yeah.
It's just the remodeling
The
inside.
interior.
Oh,
Lindsay, if, once we find out this week from the state, whichever direction that we get, when do you project that they could probably start date?
When I spoke with the Kalins last, I mean, they're ready to go whenever we are. So I think reasonably, we're probably looking at, I'd say probably third week of May. But they know we're trying to move as quickly as we can. I think it's, again, just dotting I, crossing Ts on the contract.
So you're saying somewhere around the 19th of May, Monday the 19th?
Yeah, so all that following week, yeah. I know they've got crews ready to go, so it's gonna be mobilization, and just to coordinate with the county as well over accessibility, fencing and what have you, to make sure we get, all the procedures in place, knowing what we've got coming this forthcoming year, locate where we're gonna have to lay down area, things like that.
So you don't think we have a problem with the historical commission no more? Would you find out Wednesday for sure?
We'll know where we are.
Right?
Which, we can go ahead and start now if we want to. If we did that, obviously the money is not available for us, so we waited this long.
But I think the thing is that we need to plan to go ahead and start. They're giving you a date, but Friday, so we need to project from Friday when we're gonna start, regardless if we get that or not.
Well, what I don't want to do is, if they tell us on the 30th, because it's a little bit of a moving target. For example, they had the pre-approval that we were sorted in the last round, but each time we asked them for, well, when can we actually start? Well, we'll know by, like they say, on the 30th. What we don't know is if there's going to be other condition, well, okay, you can approve the money, but you've got to wait till, that's the only thing we're waiting still to hear from them on. They haven't said anything to that effect, we've asked them those questions, but they haven't said anything to that effect as of yet. But again, I'm trying to predict historic commission. But what we're looking at doing is trying to break ground at least
Oh, yeah,
within
you know,
May.
Now, we're on item 5, and it's a public hearing on Annex 1, 2, and 3 and updates. Any questions or comments from anyone in the courtroom can be made at this time? We're gonna move on from this to item 11 and take it along with it, so all Lindsay's still here. And,
Would you plan on still bidding, rebid the Jefferson?
Building, yes. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. I mean, the numbers we had, the revised numbers we had in were still higher than we anticipated to be, and I think.
Do you know when that's gonna take place?
I'm actually gonna get with Dana, but we're looking at putting the paperwork together to advertise again. With the paperwork, you have to go through the request for proposal. Now that the drawings are complete, I think the way I'd like to go would be a competitive sealed proposal. So basically, rather than a two-step process, do a one-step process where we notification to the public who wants to bid, and then they put their names forward, and they literally can actually go online and actually refer to drawings, we'll put them in a Dropbox, they can refer to drawings, and then we'll give them a deadline date of when the bids are due.
On the Justice Center, is there anything that you cut off, that you're not gonna put inside of what you had bid for?
Well, what we did is we looked at, there's a couple of different options, I've briefly talked about this before. We can either go with the standard, the split system HVAC, or we could go with the cooling tower option. The engineer designed the one, but I always like to have a variable option. So the good thing about the competitive sealed proposal is that it allows the general contractors to put options in as part of their pricing. So someone's put like a menu pricing list, So each of the proposals we receive, we ask them to fulfill certain criteria of the bids, to provide a bid as per the drawings, but we'll say, we'd like an ad alternate on the HVAC, an ad alternate on, for example, new windows, or ad alternate for keeping existing roof or replacing existing roof. That's just general examples. And so when actually the bids come in, we can actually compare them apples to apples to see not only the base bid line item, but maybe they thought of something that we haven't, that may make the building cheaper. And that's the fairest, most competitive way to look at the pricing.
How much time do we allow for the bidding process? Are we looking at 30-day bidding process? What are we?
It's probably gonna be, from the time we advertise, I think we need 15 calendar days. And then we'll establish them, we'll probably have a three-week process, 3 to 4 week process to get those numbers back.
So we're probably looking at July,
I would say to receive,
standpoint
yeah,
of seeing some dust and noise over there?
right, to get receive numbers in, then we can negotiate from that. You referring to the Justice Center?
Yes.
Yeah. Which I think in terms of staging it, that's still fine in terms of our overall, we're starting May time. It's probably like a 6 week, 6 to 8 weeks difference between the two, but again, that can be picked up. I'm not too worried about that. Because we've got to get the interior done over there as well before we move everyone over to the existing floor. So I think that the original timing, Larry, is more or less what it was in terms of, we thought we'd probably be 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, be slightly behind on the courthouse end. But I think we're still on our original timeline.
I can't speak for the other guys, I'm just anxious to, I know what kind of problem we have, so just anxious to see something happen so we can see the conclusion.
Yeah.
Everybody, I think, we get questions daily about, when are we gonna start on courthouse? And of course, we realize, it's for the grant from, that's the reason I'm asking that if we don't hear something from them, we need to be prepared to move on.
Ready to go.
Because, it's, I think the preparation can be going on, you know.
And that's what we've got, they're ready to go, so. I've been in contact with the tailors probably at least once or twice a week about the Southern Methodist, so they have sufficient interest. We're sort of our hands tied until the state safe,
We'll move on now, we'll take 10 and 11, and then we'll, be back on that. Item 10, discussion and potential action shall occur regarding the naming of an individual to be the Wilson County representative under the agreement between the owner of Wilson County and the construction manager, the Taylor Company, as constructor, where the basis of payment is the cost of work plus a fee with a guaranteed maximum price of phase 1 foundation repair at $657,303, and phase 1A building envelope repair at $662,468 for the historic Wilson County Courthouse dated February 1st, 2014. The Wilson County representative duty will be to work with the architect and constructor to assume timely and accurate work and to administer the complex agreement.
Judge Manager,
Yes.
is there some way we can put this individual for the whole project, all the projects, other than just, or do we have to come back for each project, naming that individual?
Well, I guess you could go ahead and do that, but each project's gonna have its own contract, but that's fine. I think that would be
Just
fine.
representing for the county.
I think you could do that, sure.
Oh, we can vote this, and she can apply it to each one of the contracts as they come.
Okay.
Okay.
Your point, Judge, is our representative. If you want to, Judge?
Yeah, Paul and I had this conversation. Judge Jackson is here locally. Will be taking over my place first year. Intend to keep him in the loop. And at the same time, take care of what has to be on the spot, but keep the commissioners court. I'm gonna depend on all four of you to be participants and help and make sure the project moves along in the way it should.
I think it sounds great to me. I think having, obviously you, because you've been involved from the beginning, and you're working with Judge Jackson, that way he will be up to date whenever he takes over. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I have a 19-page checklist that I'll share with all of you.
Can you narrow it down to like one page?
That'd be pretty hard.
It's
Besides the contract, it's very,
one
on
thing on
what we
each
need
page.
to do. And unfortunately, the contract, which is the standard architect AI contract, says that Lindsay cannot be our representative. So we still have to have someone that interacts with him. So that was, our concern, and that's the one, I think, the one thing we'll have to change on the contract.
And let me restate what I said a while ago. From that position, and I said all four of the commissioners, that means you, Tom, and Lindsay, that I want the support and help from everybody, you know. I don't think there's any one of us, maybe Lindsay because he's been there, but I don't think any one of us has the expertise to really know all the details about building this. But I think as a group working together with his help and everything, we can make sure that it moves like it should.
And the key is, in my opinion, is to have everyone involved, but one representative, because otherwise we're gonna have a lot of his time tied up with having to explain and re-explain.
Now, I will say, Lindsay has dealt with Guadalupe County on 4 projects,
Yeah, it's 5 now, I think, yeah.
5 now. And Commissioner Wolverton has been the contact person. I've been in close contact with him, with ACOG and everything. I've asked him some really prying questions, you know, as far as Lindsay's firm and everything. He's very supportive and high. And I think the fact that they have come back for project after project is a pretty good.
He spoke very highly.
So that's like I said, it's very important. I don't think we can overstate the importance of all of this to our county and the future of our county, because it takes care of some very much of the building needs for the county for decades to come. Puts us in position to expand where we need to, and with the Eagle Ford, we have no idea how fast we're gonna grow or not grow, you know, but it's very important to all of us that it goes smoothly, and I think it will. I think everybody working together on it to a common goal, that we can make sure that we get the best bang for the bucks and actually have something we can all be proud of.
May I make one other comment? One of the things on my 19-page checklist, you will see it that it's, let's just say, we used as an example, our wrong doors put up, and Lindsay's not around. Well, we only have a very short period of time to notify the contractor that the door's wrong. Instead of waiting, I mean, if we wait till the end of the project, we've waived our right to complain about the door. So their contract has a pretty short time period, so the communication's gonna be really important, I think.
I've worked with the Keeler Company for 18, 19 years. They're one of the best to deal with when it comes to issues like that. They're very familiar with renovations on historic buildings too, so they tend to be very proactive on decision-making like that. It's just items that could be time sensitive or could have decisions that could have implications further down the line if, for example, decisions aren't made at the time around up front. So they're one of the best to deal with when it comes to issues like that. And flexible as well.
Ms. Chapman, she called every I and crossed every T. She did a great job in the contract.
There's some questions I never asked them, those
I know.
questions she asked me. Yeah, I was on the back of my brain thinking, oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Fowle. Is there a second?
so you can be the construction manager, and then I need a separate motion for the thing itself, and the same thing.
For the what?
You have
The
this-
agreement,
The actual agreement
Oh,
will be the
for
second
actual
motion.
agreement?
Yes.
Motion for Commissioner Wiley, second Commissioner File, okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Item 11, discussion of potential action shall occur regarding the agreement between owner, Wilson County, and construction manager, or the Taylor Company as constructor, where the basis of payment is the cost of the work plus a fee with a guaranteed maximum price for phase one foundation repair of $657,303, and phase 1A building envelope repair of $662,468 for the historic Wilson County Courthouse dated February 1st, 2014.
Make a motion to approve
Motion
Constable Taylor Court, with the stipulation they get the date on the start, when we find out something.
Yes, we'll put a contract, we'll put in this addendum into it that until you actually know when you start and finish, you'll have a critical path timeline. So that'll be part of the adjustments as part of the contract.
Motion Commissioner Brown, second Commissioner Wiley, all in favor?
All right.
Thank you. Okay, go back to item 8. Lee Fernandez, Chief Police, San Antonio Airlines, discuss take action on Guardian Angel, San Antonio Airlines, open enrollment for county employees or residents of the county. See handouts.
Good morning, Judge, County
Morning.
Commissioners.
How are you?
Thank you so much for having us out to speak to you today. My name is Steve Solis, I'm with San Antonio Airline, and I'm the Flight Sales Manager, Director of Business Development. So I'm here to talk to you about what we have been offering for quite a few years, and it's called our Guardian Angel membership. You may not be aware, San Antonio Airlines is a non-for-profit organization. We are funded by University Health System and the Baptist Health System. However, part of what we do is we transport people when called by EMS, no matter what their ability is to pay. So part of us trying to offset some of our collections that we cannot collect on, we started this membership program. So as you can probably guess, you have a very low percentage of ever having to be flown by airline. However, we do a lot of flights in Wilson County. We're actually on the first call for Wilson County EMS and for Eagle Creek and for Laverne and for South Hills. So what we do here is we'll ask people to join. As they join as a member, it's only $49 a year. This just puts people off the streets and it covers everybody in their household. And what they get in return for that fee is if we ever have to fly them, whatever their insurance doesn't cover, we'll write off the balance. So depending on your health care and your ambulance reimbursement schedule on that, you could pay, your insurance may cover 95% of the costs, or maybe like mine Blue Cross Blue Shield has a $5,000 cap. So if I were to be flown from Wilson County, it would be probably $15,000, close to that I would have to pay out of pocket. So it's a really good hedge bet to make, essentially, if you're on the road a lot, or if you actually have a situation where you may have to be flown out of a local hospital. As you know, we're really big on strokes and cardiac issues here in the state of Texas, and we have a regional policy on stroke alerts and heart alerts. So if you go into the local College Memorial, you're gonna be flown out pretty quickly, and more than likely it's gonna be yes. So the last thing you wanna do is have to worry about an extensive medical bill that comes from airline. As you may be aware, the #1 cause for bankruptcy in the United States is medical bills. So this is what we're doing. We've been asked to give this presentation to the county commissioners in order to offer our services and have a table for the employees of Wilson County to make a decision to join on their own if they wish. We have actually had other counties that have bought this for every single one of their employees. We had that in Frio County. We're working with Kimball County, They did it in Kenny County, and they did it in McMullen County. And so right now, I'm working with Kimball County as well. And this is something they're giving as an added bonus, but at the price of only $10. So it's just $49 a year, but what we're willing to do is when we come down here and offer it to your staff and your employees, we'll sell it for them for $10 a year for their entire family. And currently, right now, the biggest employer here that we have been servicing is in Phelps. Phelps has been buying this for their employees for the last 3 years. They thought that it was that important, and we have loaned some of their employees. The average amount that we write off on each person is about $2,500. So if you pay $10, you save $2,500. That's good.
You already told us that, you know, you do it for $10 for here, but
Yes.
the price listing down there got me confused.
Oh, this is for off the street price?
But you got 1 year for $49, and then 2 years it's $79, and then you get down to 4 years, it's $149, which is like it'd be cheaper by the year than the 4 years.
Right. Yeah, that actually is something that you caught that we messed up all the way for. But most of the people do, what we do is have the 2 years. That's almost a lot of what people use is 2 years. But yes, you are correct on that. We actually, and you're not gonna be geographically bound by this agreement with our services, because if you see on the map here, we actually have reciprocal agreements with 2 other not-for-profits in the state of Texas. Halo Flight in the Gulf Coast area, they're at Corpus, and also Care Flight up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They fly into the Houston, the Oklahoma region as well. We are currently working with Herman Life Flight. They're also not-for-profit in Houston, very big, very successful. Their medical program, and we're waiting for them to come up with their own membership, and then we'll all honor each other's members.
When do you see that happen?
Hopefully sometime this year. That's my goal. We're working hard with them. They actually have other priorities at this point. They're in a very highly competitive market in the Houston area. And they have just taken on some 6 brand new helicopters that are very expensive to operate. So I think they're going to have some other priorities.
So under your program, if I may do, as long as we're within this San Antonio area, which is pretty broad, it doesn't goes almost to Carpus, I see. Picks up Austin, looks like up to Temple, but you're really covered all the way up to 35 corridor, essentially from here to the Texas line and a little bit into Oklahoma,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes.
And what you're saying then is for $10 a year, we have roughly 155 employees, more or less. 155 employees that for $1,550 a year, all employees and their families would be covered.
Yes, sir.
Right? Children,
Yes. Even college-age kids that are at home, they still use a home address as their permanent address, would be covered.
And there'll be some identification given to you.
Yes, everybody will get a membership card and also get some window stickers, but even without that, they'll be in our database, so we'll know when they're from.
What I'd like to do, if you'll mind, is, we had the other organization make a presentation the other day, and Ms. Leanne asked a question at that time, said, well, it's kind of common that people call airlines, you know, it's, well, what I'd like for the auditor and Ms. Leanne and 2 of the commissioners to kind of discuss and come back with a recommendation of which one to go with or none, you know.
yeah, we were gonna, and I guess I've been slow in getting that done. We were gonna have our insurance committee, which involved all the suspects you talked about.
Leanne, would you mind being involved in that, or would you rather not? And then you just want to do it with the insurance committee?
And I'm glad we didn't have the meeting, because
Yeah.
now that these folks have come, we have.
I mean, it looks very.
Well, it's very attractive. It's something that the other program was a bit of a reach to say that the county would take care of it. I'm not saying that we wouldn't have, it was a bit of a reach, but this program, on the other hand, you can look at that and say that that could be a very nice benefit that might work into our budget. So, yes, if you'll give me one of your cards,
Steve, I got a billing question. It's, y'all don't bill until the person's transported, right? If y'all dispatch and for some reason the patient passes away before the chopper gets there, they won't,
They won't incur a
they
fee.
won't, okay.
They usually, they only incur a fee once people lay hands on them. And that's what we do a lot in the rural areas, we'll ask them to get us going. Like when they're out in the tips of the county, we'll like launch us, we turn around every day.
Is Masco conference still around?
No, they're going,
There you go.
yes.
That's one I was familiar with.
That's how, I used to fly with them too, so that was a long time ago. So I'm available for any questions, you may have anybody here, just ask me.
It's a brochure the city manager made for
And we do actually, the city of Dilley has also bought this for their staff as well. So as the word gets out, or someone gets flown and they realize how expensive it is, then it kind of raises their awareness.
Like, we have some associate employees kind of with the county, they're not exactly county employees. Say like, I just noticed our juvenile probation officer back there, they get part of their income from the county, can those people be included?
The county will decide on who's eligible. You know, if you say only full-time or even part-timers, it's your decision. We'll sell it to whomever you wishes
As long as we
to.
come up with the $10. Very cheap. That is very cheap.
And we're a not-for-profit, we're a 501c3, so you purchase it for all your employees in the course of the year. I don't know how that would work, but we're a not-for-profit, it could be seen as
And he made a good point
a
earlier.
donation or something.
Your chances of needing it is probably, but it's great to have that coverage and where they can, reason they can do it, they're not for profit, and they're gonna be making those calls here anyway, so I mean, it's like, that's the good thing. Well, we appreciate your presence.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Yes, sir, right.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
What's the chance, I know 99.9% of the time they call y'all, but what's the chance of y'all not being available? In other words, you're booked up or you're all busy and they have to call someone else?
It's very low because we do have 5 helicopters in the region. It has been low. And there will be times actually if there was a mass casualty event. And part of our regional response plan is to call every helicopter within, you know, we get our hands on to help out, like say a bus rollover or an explosion of some sort. So that would be a case where possibly other people would come in from other regions because that's part of our regional response plan.
Because I know we had an accident here about a month ago and the other company came.
Right.
And I was just curious, you know, if we bought this or we got into this, and someone else had to come, you know, what's the chance? that we don't-
Exactly. It's pretty low. We can actually do that, when we do the research, we can actually show our runs and compare it, with Mary and, you know,
I guess the bottom line is, it's a chance, but it's a slimmer chance with them than the other one because of the amount of coverage that they have.
Right.
You know.
Got a better price. Steve, here's my card.
Y'all have any kind of interlocal agreement with other agencies around as far as helicopters?
No, just with the non-profits. The other ones, the other guys are all for profit, they're pretty aggressive, and essentially their membership is a huge revenue generator for them. They're $1 billion company.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ralph, yes.
On the agenda, it says county employees or residents.
That's on the brochure, and the residents can apply for the amount that's on there, like $49.
What I'll do is actually, I'm the administrator of the program. If we get your, all the county employees registered, we'll lower the price for everybody in the county. I'll make it $10 for everybody in the county.
Whoa, here you go.
Lower the price of what?
Which is $10 a year for the entire family.
For
So-
everybody, all residents in
For
the
all
county.
residents of Wilson County. So if you already currently have a membership, we'll prorate it. So if you've already paid your $40, we'll just make it a 4-year plan.
Oh,
Good question, Ralph.
So you can benefit from it.
Ralph, very good question. That panned out very well.
so how do we fill this out?
I was just gonna say, Ralph may
Just
be
fill it out
an
and-
employee, I'm not sure.
Because my sister-
That doesn't matter now.
It doesn't matter, he's got it covered either way.
You approach the hospital.
But you know, I already have, I was talking to him a while ago. There's some, I don't know whether it's this one or something else, but I already have what we pay. And I was talking to our Lancaster Volunteer Fire Department, and said, if I'm paid out for a particular Fairlife, and I need some help, and I'm out of it, and you call somebody that's not the one I happen to have, am I still gonna get stuck with that big bill?
Sure. Unless they have an agreement. Okay, yes.
And that company you have with my helicopter company, it's down now. It doesn't work for hearing impaired. Well, you can't use it for hearing impaired. Motion, Commissioner Fowles, second Commissioner Gomez, all in favor?
Aye.
What y'all vote on down on here?
Well, it's a totally different thing. Well, I said that you had told me you had choppers, but I thought they were teeth.
No, the motion was for the insurance committee. Okay, item 12. Nine.
Very well.
Discuss to take action on change of date of the 5K Phone Fest. Y'all want to stay for this one? That's gathering permit.
This is just a change of date, correct?
We went, Leanne and I kind of went over this one time and we came up with, well, they need to reapply, but they did reapply. And now this is the third deal, so we may want to show some mercy on them, it's just changing the date on it, I don't know, but.
That's not up to me.
I don't see why we should charge another fee. I mean, they're not, they have to apply for the permit, maybe.
But
With other permits, they would pay another fee.
How many have they paid already?
Twice, sir. Right, twice? I don't know. I'm not involved in the.
they did, they paid the second one, and that's what I'm saying. I agree completely with what Leanne said. However, on this third deal, I'm not so sure that we should be somewhat lenient on it. But, you know, because there was no work involved or whatever, it changed it.
I mean, each event should have its own permit.
Yeah, but it's, what it was,
And that.
they couldn't get
permit
here for the
was
one that they had
for that day.
permitted for. So they called and we said, well, you'll have to just re-permit for another event. And they did. They did the second. And now there's something come up that they can't make that date. And, they're asking for some mercy from us because they've already paid too. And that, I mean, that's, like I said, I really don't care. I mean, I just,
That's in your precinct, right?
I'm kind of like, they seem like they're in good faith, and they understand they've already paid 2 permits for it and haven't done it, you know, but it's whatever.
I move that we remove the fee. 5K.
You wanna do it, you wanna word it in a manner where it's subject to anytime there's the fee is to be reinstated each time unless it comes before the commissioner court, and for the reason this one, that it's been over twice, so we don't set a precedent where, you know, it's a case-by-case thing, you know. That sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Motion, Commissioner Fowles, second Commissioner Gomez, all in favor?
You need to.
Item 12, discuss and take action on bids that failed to sell at the tax foreclosure sale. Number 1, call number 1103.0-0127, CBW, Park Lots 9 and 10, Block 36, OT, Old Town, what that stands for, Sutherland Springs, 507 14th Street, Sutherland Springs, Texas. Account number 093003600901. Commissioner Morales, are you familiar with that?
Yes, sir.
And you make a motion?
Yes, sir.
To accept, Commissioner Morales, second Commissioner Powell, all in favor? Item 2, cause number 12-10-0532, CBW, .48 acre, City of Floresville, Highway 97, Floresville, Texas. account number 2710110000012000. Is that in, Commissioner Collins? 97 would be,
It's west or east, I don't know where it's at.
you familiar with it, City Manager?
I don't know which side it is.
Let's see,
It's not much, it's
148 acre.
almost half acre. City of Floresville's taxes would be $9,704.80. $47,000, $50.
Better than no tax.
Anyone have any reason we should not? Motion, Commissioner Powell, motion, Commissioner Gomez to accept item C, all in favor? Number 3, cause number 12-11-0664-C4W, lot 46, Hickory Hill Estates, Hickory Hill Drive, Livonia, Texas, account number 20469 slash 0732 dash 0000 dash 00600. That is bid received was $14,000. Original opening bid was $25,308. Adjusted value is $94,800. Court costs and cost of sale is $1,089. If the $14,000 is accepted by all taxing entities, it would be dispersed as follows. Livonia Independent School District taxes would be $8,392.15. Wilson County taxes would be $4,518.85. Court costs and cost of sales is $1,089. Motion, Commissioner Morales, second, Commissioner Gomez, all in favor? Item 4, cause number 11-05-0350 CVW, lot 112, Home Place subdivision, 110 Home Place Drive, Atkins, Texas. Account number 34667/0731-000